Hello and welcome to RCHacker.com. Alright, in this video today I'm going to, I've got here my mini Tricopter, which I obviously crashed, and I'm just going to go through it and do a few repairs, and I want to obviously get it flying again, and I thought I'll make a video of it because you'll get a sort of close-up look at how I made the yaw mechanism and a few other things. So if you want to see the maiden flight video, click up here to see the video of the actual first flight, and I've got a whole build log of the of how to build this, and you can click here on this link. That'll take you to my website with the full build log of how to build this little thing. Also, it's probably going to be a later video, but I had a couple of crashes where one of the motors died, and that was the cause of this crash. So basically I'm not really sure what's going on there. I'd started running it on 3 cells rather than 2 cells, and one of the motors it would jitter a little bit while it was hovering, and I'm not sure if I was picking up noise from the ESC or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to do that in a later video. I'll link to that down here once I've done it, but I'll probably do a video having a really in-depth look at I've got a new oscilloscope, so I want to hook the oscilloscope up to this while it's running and actually see what all the business is with it. Anyway, so what I'll do, I'll get on to fixing this thing. I'm going to move to another camera and we'll see how we go. Okay, so let's go. First thing I'm going to do is repair this brake here. I already broke it once before, so you can see how I repaired it with a piece of balsa wood here, and then I just glued that back on with what I've been using. I've been using this glue here. It's what is it? It's a modified acrylic adhesive. I'll try and find out exactly where you get this stuff, but it's not epoxy. And it gives off a bit of a stink when you're using it, but it dries quite fast, and I find it really good. I find it stronger, and it's cheap too. So I'm going to use this glue to repair it. And also I've got this Spectra. This is a braided fishing line, and it is incredibly strong, and it's also you can see how that's braided. Sorry, the lighting's not that good. I've got to work on a better lighting system. And I bought a big reel of this. This is 1,000 meters, and it's 20-pound line, so 10-kilo line, and I'm going to use that to wrap around it to lash together, just to give it a bit of extra strength, and then I'll hold it in place with that glue. So, alright, first up I'll prepare the surfaces, and we'll apply this glue. So to be fair, I'm not worried too much if this is going to be, whether this is going to be pretty or not. I'm just going to bodge it a bit. So I need to get some pegs. Pegs are always good. Alright, now it's just like epoxy, 50-50, and then mix it up and place it on. I'd like a slower cure version of this. I think this starts to harden in about a couple of minutes. It starts to go off. But for quick repairs. It's really good, and it sticks to anything too. If you rough it up a bit, it's just quite good stuff. Right. Oh, I probably made a bit too much there. I'll just try and get my receiver out of the way there. Oops, damn it. getting this stuff everywhere. It's really shit. Excuse the language there. Alright, I'll put that aside. And if I could put smell going on here, it's a strong ammonia type smell, you know. It's quite offensive. And we'll put our peg on there. Yeah, that's straight. Alright, so I'll leave that for 5 minutes or so, and we'll come back and do the lashing. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I think that's dry enough. You can see it's still letting me. I can still actually. I don't know if you can see that. I can still put. Yeah, it's just about right. Yeah, I can still score it with my fingernail, and that's about. Goes to about 10 minutes later. Anyway. Oops, so let's remove our peg. Now I'll get my my Spectra cord. I didn't mention this stuff has very, very little stretch in it as well. Yeah, it's a really curious material, and it feels almost greasy to the touch as well. I haven't done any fishing for a long time, but I haven't done any fishing with this. But they say it's really responsive. You can feel the fish licking the bait, because you don't get that stretch as you would with a nylon cord. You really need sharp scissors. Yeah, like these scissors are pretty sharp, and even then it kind of struggles to cut it. I don't know if we can see that. Yeah, you can't get a clean cut on this stuff, and that's sort of an indication of how strong it actually is. Okay, we're done, and we'll just do a tiny little bit more glue, because this stuff is so hard to tie knots in and stuff. I tend to just finish off any lashing with a little smearing of glue. Can cut that little daggy bit off now. Now my KK2, I had it mounted on just these two bits of balsa that were then fixed. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Fixed here, and the idea behind that, I had it there so the accelerometer would be right in the centre of gravity. Now, the gyros don't matter. They can be anywhere. As far as I know, the gyros don't matter. They can be anywhere on the actual on your platform. But I think, it probably doesn't matter that much. But I think the accelerometer, if that's out on a limb sort of stuff, and you've got any sort of vibration, then that accelerometer is going up and down, so you'll get noise on the accelerometer. So I thought I designed this so the accelerometer was actually right in the middle of the center of gravity on this. Anyway, so I've got to clean this up a bit. I'll just take off my receiver here. You've also got here, you can see a small pot here, and that actually wires up to the main power, the battery power, and then rather than use the supplied plug for the analog input on the FR Sky, I've just soldered it directly there, and that just drops it down to, drops the 13.3 volts down to a range. This is basically just a voltage divider which I can adjust, and that just drops it down, so I can send that information back to my 9X radio. So rather than have a low voltage alarm, I've got I'm using the telemetry link that's supplied, that's included in the FR Sky stuff. Right, so let's pull off. Let's take this apart. I'm gonna have to build a new mount for this. I use masking tape basically just to hold this thing together. No, just to hold the wiring down and stuff. I could have probably used zip ties, but I wanted to save as much weight as possible on this thing. My last Tricopter weighed over 1 kilo. It's different motors, it's DT750 motors and two 2200 milliamp batteries, but you know, this one weighed 220 grams and much smaller motors, etc. And yeah, I ended up I was really happy with it, with the way it performed, just the extra weight, and the battery lasts a long time. So there's the center of gravity there. Now I'm gonna have to make, I'll just pull that off. Sorry, the lighting here is terrible. I've got to do some work on the lighting. So basically that was something like, I don't know, it was something like this. And then originally I had the RX unit on another bit out here, but I'll just make up another base for that. I'm just gonna cut some more balsa wood and make myself a new mount, rather than repair this one because it's broken a few times and it's starting to get a bit messy. So I'll go and make a new mount, and then we'll stick our flight controller back on. Okay, so I've got a second KK2 that I've been doing the Arduino stuff on. This balsa wood, there's loads of balsa trees in Ecuador, but buying actually aero modelers balsa wood, like I live a bit out in the country as well. I don't live anywhere near Quito, the main city in Ecuador, and I haven't been able to buy balsa wood. And I actually made this. You can see on the edge there, that's actually the outside log, right? And I actually got this on the circular saw. We've got a bit of a workshop down here, and I cut my own. So I cut my own balsa wood, and that was very satisfying. I don't know if we can, yeah, I'll just move the camera here and I'll show you. If you see that, that is my stool. That's a balsa wood. That's a balsa wood log which I carved out a bunch of sheets and all these. I actually cut one of these balsa wood logs up to get my balsa wood, because I would have got it sent from overseas, but the shipping on that sort of stuff is really prohibitive. So I got no real design for this or anything. It's just, now my weak point before was about here, so I think this time I'm just going to allow, get a bit fancy, and I'll allow for a bit more in this area. You can see that, yeah, a bit more in this area, and that'll just keep it a bit stronger, and a little bit there. Actually, thinking about this would be much better if I had a ply, because I've got my strength in this direction. This direction, it's not going to be very strong at all, and that's why it broke the first time. So ideally, yeah, ideally you want your strength going in both directions. So I'll cut this out and then I'll put another layer on top. I'll cut another layer and actually have 2 layers on that. A good sharp blade is actually safer. You'll find you won't need as much pressure to cut the stuff, and you're less likely to slice your thumb open or something. Okay, so that's done. I've got my 2 bits. I got the different grains, and I'm just gonna, like, I'm not gonna win any prizes for neatness. This isn't, you know, I'm not here to. It doesn't have to be too fancy. All it's got to do is hold the controller in place. So I'm just gonna glue this together with some super glue. It's always good to, like when you're doing this, just do another little, if you're drying 2 things at once, just do another little test case as well, just like that. So I can sit that one there as well, and then I'll know when the actual glue has dried. I can test my little test version rather than pushing and prodding the main one. Okay, that should be dry by now. Just to test. Yeah, it didn't stick that well. Probably my poor quality super glue, but it was, I'd say it'll be stuck on there well enough. Moving on. Now, let's see, when it broke, my little yaw mechanism broke as well. You can see, I don't know if you can see that there, but I stuck. It's actually, the control horn actually broke there. My lashings and stuff, there's obviously a weak point left there, and so I'm gonna have to cut this away and rebuild it, relash a new control horn on here. You can see here I put this extra bit just to support the wires, because if those wires vibrate too much they eventually give way and they break, and this didn't actually break in the crash, it broke in the handling afterwards. Let's get in there and cut these off. Let's take our little circlip off here. There we go. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's stuck on there. This here is another one of my favourite tools. It's actually a dental tool. I've got a couple of them, and they're just brilliant for all sorts of stuff. I hook them up to I hooked them up to my multimeter, and then you can actually poke into wires to get readings and stuff like that. And it's just generally great for such small work such as this. So, in case you were wondering, the type of servo I was using is a Hextronic HXT 500. Very cheap, less than $3, I think. Probably should put a stronger servo on this, but it does actually work. It does actually work quite well with this one. I'm gonna have to stick that on just like that, just there. There we go, that's better. Now also, I'm just gonna try and make a little bit of a groove, make use of where these holes are, and just cut a little bit of the plastic away in the middle, so the actual motor can sit in there. Yeah, you know, you don't have to make this perfect. I just like to scoop just a little bit out, so our motor shaft fits on there nicely. Alright, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's crunching a bit. I've actually, damn it, I've stripped some gears on this, so luckily I've bought some spare gears somewhere as well, so hopefully we can I can fit those and show you how we fit those. These are some that my Wisdom purchased earlier. This is going to be a pain in the ass because it's actually, I don't really want to unglue my servo. I'm just hoping that I can get in here and replace those gears without taking the whole assembly off. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So, oops, the whole thing's come out. Damn it. I'm destroying this bottom gear, taking this top one off. There we go. Switch to a larger one. I've got to make sure I don't bend that shaft, because if I bend that shaft, it's all over as well. Oh, I should also check that the gear at the bottom there is in good condition, because you don't actually get a spare one of that main gear. It looks good to me. This is the difficult one. It's a little bit stiff, but I think that's repaired. Ah, crap. Finger out of there. Alright, back to it. Let's give this another try. I've retied the loop so it's a bit bigger. So I want to mount it like that, with that bit out at right angles. So I want that to sit in just about there. That'll do nicely. And that little groove just helps to hold it in place. I also want to make sure I get it at the right angle. Try and keep this in frame. And just to lock it off, that's locked off. Right, just make sure we got it right. Yeah, that's about the angle I want it. And so I'm now ready to apply the glue. You just apply the glue onto the outside of that, and that locks it in place. Obviously you don't want to get any glue in the way of the actual bearing there. I just oh crap. Right, this might mean I'll just have to sit here. Whoops. Oh, I'm really ballsing this one up. I have really made a mess of this. I'm gonna just sit there patiently until it dries. Okay, that's been approximately 6 minutes or so, and I think I'm safe to let that go. I'm hoping in the video we'll be able to see that actually changing colour. You'll notice it's gone from being clear to that opaque white colour. So that's my yaw mechanism repaired. All I've got to do is put it back on, like zero the servo again, so it's right in the midpoint, and screw it back on, and I'm done. But I am going to wait until that's fully dry before I put that back together there. Just another note, looking at the propellers, are we focusing? I use that same glue on the top just to lock these props in place. These are the same props that it's used on the Turnigy micro quad, and you can pick up, I think it's a pack of 6, and you get 3 one rotation and then 3 the other rotation. And you can see here as well that I've balanced them. I actually put them, I spun each motor up independently while it was all on the airframe, and I stuck a laser on the arm with the quad, and then I could see the vibrations on the wall, and then I just added tape and took it off until it was nice and smooth. Like my initial flight I didn't balance them, and then after that I did balance them, and the whole thing flew, it flew a lot quieter, it flew a lot nicer, and of course less vibration is good. These circlips are absolutely tiny, and I'm probably sure that there'd probably be a limited number of times that you could remove and replace these before they, yeah, and you got to be careful not to bend the little suckers. I just managed to use my fingernails. Oh, I've got to be careful. There's normally, be careful there aren't any bearings on there as well that might come off. They're just little washers, just little, not the bearings themselves, but just little sleeves. Oh, there they are. I don't know if you can see them in there. There's just a couple in there to keep it all nice. Where are my small pliers? Oh, let's use these. These are another great tool that I picked up. There we go. These are brilliant. They're used for, I bought these at the local vets, and they lock, and they're great for, well, smaller stuff, especially, I can demonstrate there, they lock in place, and then they'll hold whatever they have there. They're used by veterinarians to clamp arteries and stuff like that when they're operating. I've got this small pair. Also got a nice big pair as well, and these are brilliant. I can actually, they're great for soldering. I can put a few things in there and just clamp them up, sit it on the table, and then solder away. They're great for third hand. So yeah, that's a little tip. They cost me about, these cost me $7.50 at the local vets. So I don't know if you can get them overseas, but well, I'm sure you could. But you know, I've got these and the dental tools and some other tweezers and stuff, and they're really good for this small work. Alright, a bit off topic there, so let's we want that to be sticking up at about, hopefully about 90 degrees. This mounting style, to be fair, it's not the strongest, but I challenge anyone to make something lighter. And of course with this design it was all about weight. I wasn't worried about strength as much, and when it's in flight it's definitely strong enough to do its job. Beauty. Right, almost ready. Now, last thing is just to remount my controller board. So I'll just mark up the top and down the bottom where my where this is supposed to sit, and I cut a few thin strips of masking tape and stick that on there. But my battery goes on the bottom as well, so I might change my battery mount so it's got a similar sort of setup with that extended bit, and then I can just slide the battery and slide the controller up and down, because this is a experimental design, and I'd like to experiment with different positioning. I've heard in some places they put this a bit further up towards the front, I think, or maybe a bit further towards the rear. You know, something to try out anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much ready to fly again. All I've got to do is stick that back on and plug it all back in, and hopefully I'll catch you in some flights. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you want to watch a video of the maiden flight of this tricopter, I'll stick it up here. You can click on this link to have a look at the video. And like I said before, if you want to see the build log, the entire build of this, I've got a full article with photos and stuff. Yeah, you can click up here, and that'll take you to the build log. So flight video up here, build log up here, and of course, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, and please like as well. That always helps. So thanks again, guys. I'll catch you later.